Today we are looking at a cloud backup service from a company called Dolphin. It is designed for resellers and MSPs. You can see the website here. It says reliable data backup software, backup anything from anywhere and restore anytime. So it includes Office 365, SharePoint, OneDrive, NAS backup, virtual machine, Microsoft SQL, you've got system images, bare metal restores, so you've got basically everything on there. Anything what I can think of anyway, it seems to include. So they do have product solutions on there, so they have specific ones for Office 365 and so forth, and then you've got white label. That's obviously mainly aimed for people who are wanting to resell the product, and you can book a demo in and they'll show you how to do it and everything like that. And the guys there seem to be pretty helpful and respond pretty quick from the communications I've had with them, so that's pretty good. So what happens when you've obviously set up an account with them, you obviously need to sort out your billing and so forth. And at this time of recording, they charge roughly around about £50. That's 50 UK pounds per terabyte of data. If you are a Tech for Techs member, though, there is a huge discount on that, and that's if you're a member of the Tech for Techs Facebook group. You'll be able to find the links and information about that in the review on the Tech for Techs Facebook page. But otherwise, let's get into the actual product. So once you've called them, you've purchased it or whatever, even gone for the free trial, you'll basically get some login details which will take you to this page here. And on here you've got a dashboard which will give you information about obviously the backing up procedures. You've got live activities, admin logs, backup and restore logs. So you've got all the logs of everything. We currently don't have this installed at the moment, so you're not going to see much under the dashboards and stuff like that. So if we go into the CPU list, you can see CPU usage, memory, storage and different things like that. But if you want to actually set it up to back up to a machine, all you have to do is go to this where it says user groups and policies down here. So you need to create a user group, so you can type in the login name, so what you want to call that backup group or person. So we're just going to call it test backup TFT. Then we're going to put a password in. And there we go. So obviously this is going to be for when you install the software on the machine you're wanting to back up from. So once you've created the user, so remember that information. So once you've done that, you need to press the little tick down the bottom corner, or the little arrow right at the bottom corner of the screen. It's easy to miss. I must admit I missed it a few times when I was looking for it, but there isn't a next button there, and it's telling me the username's wrong. Basically, I'm just going to call it TFT because the username cannot have spaces in it, or the login name. So then we'll press the next button. Okay, so you've got lots of different options on here. You can put trial user, there are paid user, lots of different things. You've got upload encryption key. So this uploads an encryption key after running your backup. So your data can be easily recovered by the guys at Dolphin. Obviously you've got language, time zones, and you can put notes on there if you wanted to. We don't really need to do any of that, so I'm pressing next. So on this machine is where you choose what you want to back up and basically put limits on and stuff like that. So first of all you need to click on where it says backup client. We're going to be using the Dolphin CBP user. Then it gives you lots of different options of what you want to do. So you've got your NAS backups on there, you've got Lotus Notes, you've got Oracle database, you've got Lotus, you've got Windows System Backup, VMware. You've got lots of different options. We're just going to go for standard file backup at the moment, so we tick those two boxes there, so it's pretty straightforward. And then underneath you can put a limit on how much you want to back up. You can remove the limit if you want to. So I'm going to delete that. So we don't want a limit on the amount of gigabytes or terabytes you want to back up. So we're free to back up as much as we want. Underneath you've got client host limits. That's how many machines they can install this on. Again, that's how many machines they can install this on. So you've got a choice of obviously one or more, or you could leave it grayed out, and I'm presuming that means as many as you want. And then the maximum number of VNs, so that's virtual machines. You can also set the number of that as well. So next, you go on to the contact information. If you press the plus sign, you can put their details like name, email address, website, phone numbers and stuff like that if you wish. I'm not going to do that because I know my own details. Well, hopefully I do anyway. And once you're happy with that, you press the little green save button at the bottom. That's now created that user, and you can see which modules they're subscribed to or set up for, which is pretty good. But if you do click on that, you can go in and then edit the settings if you want, and add and take away options if you wish, but obviously that is all up to you. Once you've done that, you're going to need to download the software client, so you need to go back to the main page. So you press X at the bottom corner, and at the top you'll see your company name or your name depending on how you've got it set up, and then a little download icon. So if you press on that, it gives you lots of different options to download the software for. So you've got Windows, you've got Mac OS X, you've got Linux or Linux depending on how you want to pronounce it, FreeBSD, Solaris, Ubuntu and Syncology and QNAP. So you've got lots of different options, and some of them give you options of an offline installer, which is going to be a zip file, and then an online installer. We're going to do the online one, so we just press online. I'll download it at the bottom of the screen. It does pop up saying this was blocked because it could harm your device, so just make sure you click the option of keeping it, and then when it pops up and comes up and saying may harm your device, just press show more and keep anyway. Depending on the browser you're using, it might come up with slightly different messages. Then when you run the file, so you just click on it, and it should start installing for you. You can see my Bulgars popping up saying it's blocked suspicious. I'm going to press report false positive, so just bear in mind your security software could cause issues. Now obviously you just go through and install it like you would do any other program, so you just press next, install and so forth, and that'll take a few minutes to download. It's going to be roughly, well, it says 142 megs, so obviously depending on the speed of the internet it's going to take a few minutes to download. So what I'll do is pause it there for a few minutes, the video, and wait till it's finished downloading and then continue. Okay, so once you've downloaded the software and installed it, it will go to this screen here, but it will prompt you for your login details. That's your username and password you created on the user group screen before, not the username and password you got for your cloud Dolphin account. Obviously, if you're using the same details, then hey, yeah, it's going to be the same, but generally it shouldn't be. So you've got different options: backup, backup sets, reports, utilities, settings, and restore. You've got obviously different languages. English is the only option on here, and it tells you who you are at the top. So you've got backup sets on here. That's the first thing you need to do, because you can't run a backup without it knowing what it's going to back up. So if you click backup sets first, you can choose to add a new backup set because we haven't created any yet. We're just going to call it backup set 1. And you can choose what files you want to back up, or not specifically files, but what you want to back up. So we want to do a file backup. It gives you the options of all the ones you got on that user page, including Office 365, VMware, and all your different databases and stuff like that, and even IBM Lotus Note backup if you really wanted to. So it really depends on what you're using. So you've got file backup on there. So I'm going to press next. You can choose what you want it to back up. So you can tell it you want to back up Outlook only or whatever. But you can also check or add more items on there to back up as well. So if you wanted to back up a specific drive or something like that, you can then go on there and say, I want to back up my whole documents drive, and then I want to go into my TFT and I want to do my archives folder or something along that lines, and you tick the box in there, or you can do the whole drive. Obviously that's up to you. You can even go down to file level if you wish. So once you've done that, you press OK. So now I know that's going to back up Outlook as well as those things I've ticked. You go on to next. You can run a schedule. Obviously, if you don't run a schedule, you have to manually go in and change the settings. You have to manually go in and press backup if you want to. But if you add a schedule, you can tell it to do it daily at specific times if you're wanting to, or you could do it every 1 minute or 12 hours or whatever. Obviously, if you've got it at a specific time, let's say 8 o'clock at night, the machine will specifically need to be on, obviously, at that time. Otherwise, it won't be able to do the backup. Otherwise, you'll miss that backup slot and it won't do it till the machine is on next time. So you press OK and you press next, and it'll go on here. So you've got backup mode, so you've got concurrent, sequential. So if you've got it on concurrent, you can choose how many current backup destinations you've got. You can also add, or you'll need to add, a storage destination. So you can choose Cloud Dolphin, Cloud Backup, so I'm guessing that's some other form of backup, I've not looked at that one, or local map drive. So that's obviously where you can back up to an external hard drive, a NAS or something along that lines, which is good because that means you can use one program for all your backup needs. So that'll do your cloud as well as local. So I'm just going to do cloud and press OK. And then you've got your mode and everything like that again, and you can also go in and add another one, so you can do your local as well if you wanted to. So next is the next option. So you've got open direct, off or on. As it's there, it says support of opening backup data directly without restoration. So that's up to you. It's to do with the encryption and so forth. We're going to run it with off. If you do run it with on, so I've been told, if I'm right, it won't let you back up online because it breaks some data protection rules and so forth. So you've got encryption type, you've got default, or you've got a user password or custom. So it's up to you. I'm going to put user password, so that's the same password I use to log into the software, but you can create a custom one if you're wanting, and it gives you an encryption key, and you can do it however you want, 128-bit, 256 and so forth. And default, it will give you a random one when you go on the next page, but I'm going to put user password so I remember what it is for the moment. Then you press next. It's masked my code at the moment. You can press copy to clipboard if you want to, if you don't want anyone else to see it, and then you press confirm. It goes on to this screen here which says Windows User Authentication. This is the username and password for your machine. So when you switch it on, obviously it will say your machine's name is Office PC 1 or whatever. For example, mine it just says Phil, and then you'll need to put the password in for the machine. You will not be able to set this up without a password on the machine, so you will need to go in and set a password for that specific machine for this to work. So I'll just type in what mine is, and then you press next, and then it's set up and it's done. So you can press backup now, or you can press close. It shows you the backup sets, and you can go in and do another one, so you can have a different backup set for different files and so forth, or programs, or however you want to set it up. Once that's done, I'm going to go and press backup just to show you what it looks like. So you go and back up, and I'll ask you which one do you want to back up. I'm going to click the first one because it's the only one on the list, and then I'm going to press backup down the bottom. And as you can see, it started backing up, and it'll tell you after a little while, but it's got to add everything up to figure out obviously what it's got to back up, so it may take a little while. So you can see things are starting to fly through now. It's starting to pick up the amount of stuff. You can see 150 meg. It's going to take 8 hours. Obviously backup time is mainly reliant on the speed of your internet. So you can see here it's telling me it's going to take 30 hours, 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours and more to actually back up. But bear in mind, obviously the backup time depends on how much you're backing up, and the first backup will always take longer. Obviously if you've got it set up, it just needs to then back up new stuff. So the initial backups may take days or even weeks, depending on how much data you've got and the speed of your internet. But once it's done, it's done. And then you just need to add the new stuff, which it does automatically for you on your scheduled backup time, or if you want to go in there and manually press backup, which will take a while. Okay, so I've had the backup going for roughly close to 2 minutes now. You can see it's saying estimated time is going to take 540 hours. It's telling me it's 3.13 terabytes. Up to now, it's backed up 300 and basically 30 meg. Obviously, it will take time, but at least you know. You can minimize this, carry on with your work. Obviously, bear in mind if you are backing up, it could slow down your internet access, possibly network access, depending on obviously speeds and so forth while it's doing that. But generally, you would set this up when everyone's gone home from work to do a backup at night. Some people set it up first thing in the morning, so it'll back up at 8 o'clock in the morning, the hour before everyone comes to work. But the first initial backup is going to take several hours, and again, depends on exactly how much you've got. So overall, what have we got? We've got a pretty good program here, to be honest, or should I say cloud solution for backing up data. You can back up pretty much everything you want to. You can monitor it, you can click live activities on the main page and monitor how much everyone's backing up, so you can check each customer, see how much they're backing up, if they're currently backing up and so forth. So you've also got restore statuses on there. There's no restore jobs going on at the moment, so that's good. And you've got your dashboard on there as well, which is going to show obviously to-do lists, CPU usage, and backup usage, memory storage, and so forth. So you've got everything on there you should need. Again, I'm not going to go all in depth about how to set everything up. That's for them to show you how to do and how to look at. This is a basic review. But overall, for the price, 50 quid per terabyte, and if you're a Text user, as I said, make sure you're in the Facebook group, you will get a huge discount on that. And that's, you've been charged not 1 terabyte for one user. So if you've got 10 users which are all using 100 gig each, then that's a terabyte. So you only get charged £50, and then obviously you can charge your customers however much you want. So you only get charged for the total amount you're using, not per machine. Overall, very happy with this software. I'm going to be using it for a little while to see how it goes, but I can't think of any other award to give it than our highly recommended award.